Good evening to you, friends, family, folks, favorites. I've added another F. Good evening to all of you this lovely Tuesday evening. Ravi Kemraj in the house. Ravi, good evening. Tell me where you're viewing us from. Happy to have you on Building Bridges this evening. Folks, good evening and welcome. Welcome to Building Bridges, another Tuesday afternoon. Um, you know, we will have 1 hour of conversation. We had a little bit of a scare this afternoon in relation to broadcasting our program this evening. But nevertheless, God is good. He's always with us and will guide us through. We're here, and I want to say thank you to all of you um, for joining me. Anna Gordon, good evening to you. You have to tell us when you come on, two things you have to do. You absolutely have to share the live stream and you have to tell us where you're viewing us from. So, Miss Selby, good evening to you. Miss Selby is viewing us from London, lovely. And Ravi is from the west side, Lenora. Ravi, the west side is the best side, isn't that what they say? I'm not going to get in that, but that's what they say. Thank you for joining us, Ravi. And Edward Gonzalez is joining us from the Bronx. Anybody see Mr. Grenada? Tag him. He's been asking about building bridges. Good night. Um, I never know how to pronounce this name. Wang Dionet, Aisha. Good evening to you and welcome. You have to share the live stream. You have to also tell me where you're joining me from. And Anna, this is why things is go south. I know you're not on Mars, but you have to tell me where you're joining from, Anna, whether you're at work, whether you're at home. Um, Anna, tell us where you are. Samuel Mingo is watching us from Toronto. Samuel, is it cold? Tell me what's going on there. How are you this evening? And Kenrick Smith is watching us from New Jersey, USA. Folks, good evening. Welcome. Colleen, good evening. Colleen, where are you viewing us from this evening? Edward is from the Bronx, Rafi is from the West Side, Selby is from London, and Anna is from Mars. Folks, good evening, welcome. Tell us where you're joining us from. Irma Holder, good evening, and Irma is from BIM. Irma is in Barbados and watching us this evening. Folks, it's a wonderful Tuesday. We haven't had much rain today. Most of today it was sunny, and I welcome that because I was able to do some work in the yard. I was able to go out and get my stuff, and so not too much water outside. So I was happy for that. Good evening, Compton Reed. Compton says, nice seeing you from NA in the house. I believe that's New Amsterdam, Compton. And Don Sullivan is watching. Don, you have to tell me where you're joining me from. Colleen, you're at work. Good night. Colleen is using work time to view us and she's right in Guyana. Thank you, Colleen. Thank you for joining us. And Winston Henry says, good evening, and he's from East Penitence, Georgetown. Lovely, lovely. Winston, what is the water? What is it like in your area in East Penitence and all this rain and flood and so on going on? Tell us what's going on. Gloria Durant, Gloria's watching us from New Jersey, guys. Welcome, New Jersey in the house this evening. And Lloyd McAllister. Lloyd, what you doing in the Mazaruni River? Folks, Lloyd is watching us from the Mazaruni River. We welcome you, Lloyd. Welcome to Building Bridges. And Jenny's Booker is from Brooklyn. Brooklyn in the house. Welcome you, folks. Oscar Springer, he says, God bless your way forward. I'm from Coverdale on the East Bank. Welcome, Oscar Springer. Is this your first time joining us, Oscar? Lovely to have you here this evening. Folks, welcome to Building Bridges. Another program on Tuesday afternoon from 6:30 to 7:30 on Building Bridges. We tend to put things into perspective, whether it's political, economics, it's social issues, whatever it is, we tend to put it into context and give you the facts on building bridges. Now, building bridges is a program that you come on, you spend 1 hour with me, and you must walk away with something that you would have learned, right? Not necessarily new knowledge. Sometimes it's a reminder for all of you. Tyrese Bacchus, good night. Good night to you. Tell me where you're joining me from, Tyrese. Um, Father One is Brooklyn is in the house. I have a lot of Brooklyn fans here tonight. What's the weather like in Brooklyn this evening, folks? Hi, good evening, Mom. Nice seeing you, MD John. Good evening, and nice seeing you too. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everyone. Felix Bailey, Willina, Williana, sorry, Williana. These names are going by so fast. Williana Felix Bailey says good night, and she's watching from Denham still. There's a lot going on in Denham still, folks. I know for a fact a lot is going on in the village of Denham still, and Denham still is on the west side, right, Ravi? Um, and we'll talk about that on another program. Ganga Prasad says good night, and he's watching from Legwan. I love leg one. It's so quiet and so peaceful. And Glendon Tony says, good night, watching from Maryland. Wonderful. Welcome, Glendon. Welcome. And Richie Mandy says, good morning, everyone. Well, good morning to you, Richie Mandy. You will have to tell us. Tell us where you're joining us from and how is it morning in your neck of the woods? Because it is evening, it is 6:30 going on to 7 here. And Samuel Mingo says it's cloudy, 0 degrees Celsius in Toronto. Oh, goodness. Oh my goodness, Samuel, and you have that smile on your face. Wonderful. Rupert August says, Salam sis from Essequibo. Walaikum salam. Good to have you here, Rupert. Share the live stream, folks. I don't feel like going on tonight. We've been on here a few minutes and I don't feel like moving on because I'm not seeing the shares. Folks, share the live stream. We want to talk about the PPP and their nepotism tonight. And tonight, you notice I haven't broadcast a guest for this evening. So it's me and you tonight. So let's go. I'm going to use the comment section to ensure that tonight is an interactive session. We're going to talk about the PPP nepotism and religious intolerance. That's something on my front burner, right? Social cohesion is my go-to. And so we have to look at what is happening now in this installed PPP government, what has happened while we were in government, and where this is all going, right? So we're going to get there, but I don't want to start that conversation until I see the shares go up. So Fred Mason says he's watching from Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is cold. Leslyn Charles, good night, sweetheart. Joining from New Jersey. Is this the retired Assistant Chief Education Officer, Leslyn Charles, from West Coast Burbies? Let me know, please. I really need to find all the education professionals and have a conversation with them and bring them back because we're at zero in education at this point in time. Carletta Reynolds, good night. Donna Fresco, it is so good to see you. Donna, you have to tell me where you're joining me from tonight. And Nicola, good night to you. Tyrese is watching us from the East Coast, folks. Good evening. Wendy Denny says your village. And folks, if you don't know, and Wendy didn't want to type it, let me tell you, Wendy is from Rosignol Village, West Bank, Burbies. Jomo Prastis, good night, and he's watching from Barbados. Good night to you, Mark D. Good night from the Bronx. Folks, we have a lot of people from the Bronx here this evening, Brooklyn, the Bronx. Said Khan, boom. Said Khan says, boom out, never again. Said, may God have mercy on you. It's a good Tuesday night. Why you don't boom out? Oh Lord, have mercy. Leave space for other people who want to view and learn something on the program side. Oh Lord. Richie says, my question is that the PPP like to witch hunt everyone and run them down. How come they still can't find Sue? That is a very good question, Richie. How they can't find Sue? And Sue partner has not been charged as yet. We haven't seen a COI, we haven't seen charges, but Sue partner, Sue landlord is making all sorts of statements about the mayor. But we can talk about it, don't worry. Leon Blair says, good evening, everyone. He's watching from Linden. Wow. Linden in the house. I'm always happy to see when the Linden people come out. Folks, good evening. Welcome to Building Bridges. Let's go on with our program this evening. A lot has happened, and we got to stay on the ball, right? Right, Tyrese? Good evening. We have to go on the ball. So, folks, let me say to you that you know that this program is broadcast on Facebook as a live. Mark, big up from Mahiko. Take a big up, Mark. Come in, Mark. Mark. You have to share the live stream. No, ma'am. This is Leslyn Charles. All right, Leslyn. There is another Leslyn Charles from West Coast Barbies, former Assistant Chief Education Officer, Secondary. So, Paula Jones, good evening. Yes, so let us get to the program. Y'all hold a big up and let me hold on under until we get through this program, at least for halfway, and then we'll come back. But we need to keep the comment section interactive. Now, y'all know that this program is being broadcast live on Facebook. A couple of days ago, I think it's more than a week. I am having some issues with my other page. So let me show you what we have done. My PR person is trying to reposition everything in view of that happening because my MP page and all the other pages that we broadcast on has been compromised. And while we work out the logistics with Facebook, we have to continue. And so I want to show you some of the avenues by which you can get me. I'm not sure if my operator is up and running. Let's see all the contact information that folks can get me on. Yes, I see it there. So, folks, you would be able to see, you can get me now on Facebook on Natasha Singh Lewis. Um, and you see my number there, it's 615. Tell me if you can see all that is happening there. Um, those are the new contact, right? So it's my email address is mp.natasha.singh.lewis@parliament.gov.gy. We want to start using the official email and then the WhatsApp, or you can call me on 592-615-8917. You can get me on Instagram, MP Natasha Singh Lewis GY. You can get me on Facebook at Natasha Singh Lewis or Natasha Singh Lewis MP, Shadow Minister of Education. And my portfolio is education. Now, folks, while you wanna go forward and you want to do things, there are going to be stumbling blocks, and I believe that this has been deliberate. I don't know how else to say it, but we can't let the stumbling blocks hold us up. So why am I saying all of that? I am asking all of you here tonight to do a couple of things for me. Go to the Facebook page and follow, share, so that we can build that platform back. If you want to reach out to me, go to Instagram. It is there. You can also WhatsApp me on 615-8917, and I will share all of the other information to you. Folks, we need to be cognizant that things are happening. You know, it's not easy. And I can tell you that there are a number of persons that try to destroy our platforms, but we cannot let that hold us back. We have to go forward. So, what I ask of you tonight is to go to MP Natasha Singh Lewis um, Facebook page, Natasha Singh Lewis, MP, Shadow Minister of Education. That is my official Facebook page. My own personal account has been compromised also. And so there's another platform set up for that. It's Natasha Singh Lewis. You can also get me there. That's the one that I would normally respond to people to. So you can get me there. Please go like, share, follow. It is important that you follow that MP page so that we can meet here another Tuesday evening and a larger number of us can enjoy another program for building bridges. Lynette, good night. Lynette says all the way in the UK, UK in the house. Good evening to you, Lynette, and I'm sure you are also very cold where you are. No, and Richie, we can't let them distract us by giving handouts. We need answers. And Karen, Walaikum Salam. And Adrian Wellington. Adrian, a very good evening to you, comrade. He says Essequibo is in the house. Folks, Julian Mars. Julian, are you from New Amsterdam? Good evening. Welcome. Fidel Albert. Good night. No sound. Operator Fidel is saying that he is not getting any sound. Folks, if you are hearing me or if you're not hearing me, let me know, please. From my end here, everything seems to be all right. Harriet, good evening to you. Harriet, where are you viewing us from this evening? And Eula Ruben, good evening, madam. Good evening to you, to Eula. Welcome to Building Bridges. So let me know if you're hearing me because somebody says they're not hearing me. Sharon, good evening to you. I am happy that you are here. Share the stream, share the live, share the live. And Carol Rawlings says, good night, watching from Queens, and that's New York. And Carol, you hear me loud and clear. Good. Wonderful. We can go on because Carol says she's hearing me loud and clear and Carol is viewing us all the way in Queens. And Tanya says, hi, good night. I can hear you. Lovely. Tanya, tell us where you're watching us from. And Lake B says, Sarah is watching us from St. Martin. I don't think I've ever seen one of my followers from St. Martin. Lovely, lovely to have you. And Anthony, good evening. And Julian is in the US. Good evening. Natram, good night. And Natram Sukmangal is viewing us from Brooklyn. Tanya is watching us from Maryland. Good evening. Most of you in the cold. Oh my goodness. It's warm in Guyana, at least this evening. It's warm and strictly passion. Good evening, all the way from DMV, hearing loud and clear. But you got to tell me what's DMV, a little slow. Tell me what's that. Strictly passion. Tell me what's DMV. Folks, let's go on. You know, in the last couple of days, a couple of things, few things happened. This one that happened is very disturbing for me. On the 19th. That was yesterday, I think. Yes. Yesterday's Tuesday. It's Sunday night, I believe. Operator, you have those two kids from the Pomeroon. You know, we lost two children. They're very small, yes. Two children killed in Pomeroon riverboat mishap. That story is so sad. They were going home, the parents, the mother and father, they were in the boat and the boat engine hit something. It was way past sunlight. It was in the dark. They were going home and they had a 75 horsepower engine. So, you know, that's reasonable for the Pomeroon River. And they were going home and the engine hit something. Their boat turned over, and the two children, of course, um, they had no life jacket, and so they couldn't find them. The mother and father was able to swim to shore, and so they are alive. They too were not wearing any life jacket, but the next morning, I think a few hours after, they found these two angels, 5 years old, and I believe the baby is a year old. Of course, they were pronounced dead, and they're at the morgue in Charity awaiting a post-mortem to be done. And folks, on a very sad note, it breaks my heart when two little ones like that. I can't imagine the pain. I can't imagine the pain that those um, two parents they are going through at this time. But that is also a call for us to wear life jackets. I mean, if you go in the Pomeroon, I normally visit, all of our communities. And in the boats, when you join the boat to charity, they don't necessarily give you a life jacket unless you're going to Maruka. I've seen boats with life jackets going to Maruka, but going up or down the Pomeroon, you don't see life jacket necessarily. And so what I do is walk with my life jacket because a girl can't swim. So I have to do that for me because I respect my own life and I am supposed to take responsibility for my own life. So I walk with my own life jacket when I go out. But how many people can afford a life jacket? This should be a lesson to all of us. It saddened my heart when I saw those two children there, It saddens my heart. And so our thoughts and prayers go out to the parents of these two children. I am so disheartened, sad, you know. The Atkinson family from Pomeroon, they are hurting at this time. And the most, or the least we can do, I should say, is to pray for their comfort at this time. My heart goes out to them. But folks, that's what's happening here. We need to be a bit more careful. Desiree Manuel, no, they don't wear life vests when they are on the boats. No, they don't. Omar Grant, Walaikum Salam. He's watching us from New York. And Anissa Furkan Peace. Very sad indeed, Anissa. And Kylo Texas, oh God, why aren't the life jackets the law? It is. I can tell you, the life jacket is the law, but whether they can afford, you have to see the poverty in the Pomeroon. Our indigenous brothers and sisters, they suffer a lot. They are very disadvantaged. Not only on the Pomeroon, in most of our communities, they don't get access to government resources as they should. And so while we can all ask about the life jackets, um, their poverty level is beyond what they can do. Nevertheless, the law is there. They should wear a life jacket. But folks, that's our situation there. And that, yes, Anne says that news breaks me so bad. But we can reach out to them. Folks, Muhammad Dean says salam. I wish to have some help with this rum shop opposite me. Mohammedan, reach me on WhatsApp 615-8917 after the show, or just send me a message what this is all about. And I can tell you that there are rules and regulations in place. It is just the implementation for that. So, folks, let's go on. Um, Audrey Ward says good night to everyone watching from British Virgin Islands. Is that the thing I was looking for just now? Audrey Ward said this is so sad. Yes, indeed. Folks, a lot has been happening. I don't know how many of you read the newspapers or read the online news, but we were privileged in the opposition. We were privileged to some information a few weeks ago. I must say, a few weeks ago, I remember the leader of the opposition um, dealing with this matter on one of our press conference. And what do you think it is? The staff at the Ministry of Social Services, Human Services, and Social Security, um, they have been making some demands. And operator, can you bring up that slide for me? They have been making some demands, and from what we understand, it is not only now. They have been making demands, and the demands have, they've started to work on it. And what is it? The staff of the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security is asking for the minister to be removed. Remember, I told you that we're going to talk about nepotism, the PPP corruption, religious intolerance. Remember, I told you we were going to talk about that? Well, let's zoom in on this issue before we go on to all the other issues. Let's zoom in on this one. The staff wants the minister to be removed. Now, the staff of the ministry, according to the Mirror Waves online, they have written to the installed president. They wrote the president. I saw the letter. It is really a long epistle. They've justified why they're asking for this minister to be removed. They've given evidence. What do you think Fatbai did? Fatbai decided to take the letter and send it to Auntie Jenny. Who's Auntie Jenny? The former Minister of Public Service. And so Jenny was assigned to go over to Jenny is currently the advisor to the Minister on Public Service. This is Jennifer Westford, right? That's her current portfolio. She's a member of parliament and she's an advisor to the Minister of Public Service right now, Sonia Parag. So Sonia don't know nothing what she's doing. It's Jenny's do the work over at public service. We know that. In parliament, we know that. So this whole allegation came up. Irfan saw the letter from the staff, sent Jenny over at social services. But he didn't send Jenny to the minister. I want to zoom in on something here. Y'all got to know the facts. And you gonna draw your own conclusion. I gonna share a little bit with you. You must know what's going on and you must make a conclusion. This minister here is a Hindu pandit. She's a pandita, right? She wicked bad. And she would watch me and she would tell me that I wicked too. But she ain't got no evidence to show people. The other day in the National Assembly, she spoke after me and she told the people, because I called them out on their corruption, that's the most vile presentation that she has ever heard in the National Assembly. Well, I don't give two flying fish about she and her comments be going on. She had the audacity to accuse me of a vile presentation. Today, I have evidence to show how this minister is creating religious intolerance by her own action, as alleged by the staff in a letter that was with the content. Some of the content of the letter was released on Demerara Waves online. Go to that news source and you will see the entire conversation there. The reason that the staff is saying it is general stuff, public service stuff, but they don't want to tell you the nitty-gritty. They're alleging that the minister should go on the grounds of mismanagement and a bundle of failed initiatives. And this is captured in the Demerara Waves online news on the 19th of December. The entire letter is there. And another media outlet, Starbuck News, carried a letter written by Annette Ferguson. Annette would have outlined a lot more of the content in her letter, and Annette is calling on the president to send this minister home because it is not what is meeting the eyes or the ears. There is a lot more that is going on. Folks, I don't have to tell you anything more about this matter, but I'm going to go through it. So they're saying, I started off by saying the PPP nepotism is resulting in religious intolerance. I said that to you at the beginning, right? But let me tell you what the staff is saying. More reasons. Those include the allegations that they are leveling against the Minister of Human Services, Vindhya Prasad. They are alleging that she is facilitating the hiring of several members of the Dharmic Sabha. Remember, I tell you that she's a Pandit? She belongs to the Dharmic Sabha. And so what she has done is to hire all the people them over at Dharmic Sabha and bring them to work at the Ministry of Human Services, where she is the minister currently. Excuse me. So the staff is saying there that Vinny bring them people from Dharmic Sabha, employ them, and so in some instances, she bring them unqualified as they are and give them higher salaries. In many cases, they got higher salaries while the highly qualified professionals are burdened with more work for less play. Now, the staff there, if you know the complement of staff at Human Services, it's pretty diverse. But when people are outlining this fact, right? And you know that if we go down and they give us access to the employment records at public service, we will tell you. Like one of the deputy directors, she brought on 2020. 2021 was a big uproar. Now we wanted to know why the director of social services, Tana resigned, and Tana has been doing his work as director of social services since Priya was minister of human services. Tana worked under the APNU AFC, and as soon as Vindi came on, Tana went his way. And Priya took him. Tana is now one of her directors over at education. They don't want to tell you. They don't want Tana to go out to the public and tell the public what Vindi is doing over there. And Vindi got a new a permanent secretary that isn't different. And I've got to tell you that the letter I saw, and I am willing to make that letter public, there are some damning allegations against the permanent secretary, which includes rum drinking and all sorts of things. It is allegations at this point. It is alleged that rum drinking takes place in the PS office. Folks, when the staff of that ministry wrote the president, an investigation is supposed to take place immediately. They were supposed to leave their post and an investigation should be carried out. But you know what? Let's circle back to this religious intolerance. Y'all think that Mayor Yubraj Narain was wrong? We all know what is happening between Irfan, the Muslim president, and Vindhya Prasad, the Pandit. And my own thinking is that he has to think a lot harder before he can call her out. Would he ever call her out? If that letter was not sent to us by the staff, we would not have known that the staff wrote the president. We would not have known that Jennifer was given a task to go and meet the PS and work the issues out. And folks, this is only one ministry. So when the four Muslim leaders, who I understand is singing for their supper, I have no time, right? My sustenance come from Allah, only Allah. So I have no time with them. But they're singing for their supper. When they decide to call out Mayor Yubraj Narain, they know very well the religious intolerance that is taking place in the installed government. It now starts the actions of the nepotism, and the intolerance is now facing us. It has surfaced a little while now, but nobody's paying attention to it. This is a whole pack of hypocrites who came out and wrote statements against the mayor. A whole pack of hypocrites turned up at Regent Street to picket the mayor. You know what they're doing? They are trying to distract us from the issues in the government. That's what they're trying to do. And yes, I agree with you, Honorable Nima Flubeth. Welcome to Building Bridges. We are in a bad state. In the month of September, I spent almost 4 programs because it was Education Month to focus on education. And I thought that was the only ministry that was in a bad state. When we had to give our children tents to be accommodated in September. I thought that was the only ministry. But God have mercy. The staff over at Human Services, they're begging. The letter went on to say that they're begging Irfan to change Vindi, move her out from there and bring back Priya or bring Jenny. I don't endorse that. They're all installed, but I don't believe in transfer any problem. They must go home. Vindhya Prasad must go home. And yes, Bernadette, who remembers her father, the famous Pandit Rupudaman Prasad, she must go home. The people don't have confidence in her. When she started to roll out, remember the people in the letter, in the newsletter, they said that she is the minister of failed initiatives. I spoke about these 2 days and 3 days training that they're giving certificate for. From an education point of view, that can only be a certificate of participation or appreciation. It cannot be anything of substance to give the people either a skill or to be certified for employment. It didn't meet the requirements for that. And she dragged me across the coals like I don't know what I'm talking about. But she started off, fresh. She got all these ideas. And the ministry has its own mandate. The ministry has a work plan. And so when the staff told her, this is the work plan for the ministry, these are the things that we have to do, these are the things we will do to improve the services and so on, she didn't want to work with the work plan. She brought in all them people from Dharmic Sabha, give them big, big salary. And so they were doing her biddings. And if you ever run a department or a ministry of public in the government, you are disturbing the entire department or ministry by doing that. And so I would say that the people, they have demonstrated that they have no confidence in Vidya Prasad, and she should go. She should resign. The news item also said that she refused to take any calls. Who's paying her? Why is she not being held accountable? Who is she? Is my taxpayer money paying her? Man, sometimes Devon says, talking about education, can you educate me who took free education out of UG? Is the PPP, Devon? On the Burnham, it was free education from nursery to tertiary. It was the PPP. And now they're trying to sell you another dream by telling you that they're going to bring free education as if, it's a new concept. And yes, Seymour George, good night. Good night to you. I don't know. She passed the stage of wickedness, bro. She passed that stage. She wicked bad. And I really don't know. I really don't know. And Anthony said it was said in the letter that she can't and don't know what to do. But I don't understand. You have competent people. I know the managers. I know the supervisors. If you only see the things that we know, we can say it out because the staff they're going to be in problems. If you go over at the child protection agencies, it's an agency that is budgeted under social services. And you go by region and you ask them about the children that are displaced, the children, what percentage of children suffer rape, abuse, all of that. It is high, high, high. The situation is terrible. And you know what I tell you? But I made some suggestion. I met three welfare officers, child care and protection officers. My constituency is Region 6. And Region 6 is a region that is pump money until you just gotta say, wake up and stand up on the road, and they bring a cash grant and give you. And the number of children in that region abused and needs help, it's appalling. Region 3, Region 4, you don't get the information that easy. Region 10. And when you look at those figures and you look at the extent of the problem facing these children, it's not that we don't have the will or we don't have the capacity to deal with those issues. Remember, we just came out of COVID. I don't know where we are with COVID, right? Just sorry, I don't know. But something happened, and then, we all out here, and the consequences, the children are suffering. The government got no time. The Muslim president whining down at every function. Got the pandit at Human Services doing her own thing, and the children suffering. I am in the process of putting together the information, requesting it from Parliament, and I will bring it back as soon as I get the response because I've asked for a written response. As soon as I get it back, I'm going to release it right here. Sometimes it's not what I plan to do on building bridges, but I often say that if I share this information with all of you, you will remember that MP Lewis said that it's really bad with child protection agency and the children are suffering. And so you of your own will do a little bit more for the children in your community because the government will not. We've seen that. The government will not. And Devon Sanko says, look at the kids in the hinterland still going to school barefoot in an oil-rich country. Still waiting for that. Still waiting to see what will happen. Sheila Boychild is in the house. Good evening to you. Welcome. Folks, sometimes you want to know what else. When I have to come and I have to tell you, I have to give you all these, news that this information that is not so uplifting. It takes a toll on us, but as members of parliament in the opposition, every single day. And as for me, my number is public. Every single day, people reach out to me. And then, I mean, a few would come and say, thanks, Miss Lewis, and I've gotten through, and I've got my pension book, and my child is here, and so on. And those keep us going. But most of the messages you get is somebody in problem, and it's because the government discriminate against them, or the government just don't care. And I don't feel like doing this the whole night, the whole 1 hour, folks. But I have to tell you what is happening. I know you will agree with me that Vindhya Prasad should go. I know you will agree with me. She is unfit to be the minister, and she should go. And you know who else is unfit? But I've said this a long time. I've seen the Minister of Education do something really foolish a couple days ago. Really foolish. Teachers duty free concession. I was trying to get the General Secretary of the Union today. I was trying to get her, but I think she is in the same situation trying to sort it out. Teachers duty free concession. You know, Honorable Annette Ferguson asked the minister about the same issue. When you look at the list, right? When you look at the list, you ask yourself, what's going on here? Yolanda Thomas, what's going on with the teacher duty free concession? Yolanda is joining us from Queens, New York. And Shamoti Diochan, I want you, I know you don't live here. I want you to come back and bring your children them here and see the great job that the PPP is doing. A lot of children that looks like you punishing and me punishing. But we shouldn't make the welfare of our children political. We shouldn't. Let me tell you what the minister did. Three teachers, teachers duty-free concession. Three teachers reached out to me. I said to you at the beginning of the program that my portfolio is education, right? So I'm the shadow minister of education. You think that under the APNU AFC, teachers did not get their duty-free concession? Do you think so? All of the news items are out there. Do you believe that we would have advertised? I don't know. Advertise is the best word I can use at this time. All the teachers' name, put them out there, put them on social media, and tell them this is your gift to you from government. Well, let me tell you, it's not a gift. It is their entitlement. And it's Christmas time, right? Give them an increase in their salary if you want to talk about gifts. The duty-free concession is an entitlement. And they got more to the duty-free concession that we will talk about a little later. I'm still investigating the union's role in all of this. As soon as I'm able to have the facts verified by the General Secretary and the President of the GTU, I will come back here and let you guys know. They are entitled. And you know, I was going through the comments, and while the teachers are saying congratulations and thank you, they are saying that the requirements should be looked at. If you go to the ministry, listen to me. You'll go to the Ministry of Education website, their Facebook page, and you will see this. You will see this. One of the things that the teachers are commenting, and you know, some of them are very brave, is that the nursery school teachers should be given a better opportunity. And I want to bring in the race thing because, you know, there are people like me with name Lewis and me look like the regular Lewis, right? So I don't want to look at the names and say that they discriminated. I'm not going to go there. But you go through the list yourself. And I agree with you, Sheila Boychild. He said, with such a windfall of cash coming in due to the Russian war, the government should allow all teachers such concessions. We got the money. We got the money. And Annette Ferguson reached out to Priya on Facebook and said to her that the teachers should get more than that, not only their duty free concessions, and not just a handful of teachers should get it. And instead of giving the ministry's perspective, I'm sorry I don't have that, but under that same post you will see Annette's situation. The minister came back, like this Tyra girl she is. Under the APN UFC, you had 5 years, you didn't do this, you didn't. In all of her rage, she said that we didn't give the teacher debouching. They were entitled to and they didn't get their debouching. And that's a blatant lie. But who is going to, sometimes you really got to buckle up to be lawless. You got to buckle up to be lawless. And I don't feel like going down in the gutter with them. But a whole bunch of lies. And she comes out so confident on Facebook. And no nobody's, I think people are fed up by now and they say, let Priya do what she got to do. But she's unfit if you can lie publicly about something that is already in public domain. But we are in such a unique situation now. That all you got to go and type in the bunching and Guyana teachers, and you will see all the articles come up. And you will see the date, you will see the event. And Seymour George says MP Natasha them Jagabat want to come for you because you are speaking the truth. Listen, on building bridges, you must learn something before the hour is out. You must become aware of what's happening around us, especially in my portfolio issues. And we can't be quiet about it. Education should be free from nursery to tertiary. I do believe that we have the capacity to do that and to do it now. Today, I see that they have given some teachers scholarship, and Priya is tagging it as your Christmas gift. And this is non-salaried benefits. Folks, teachers been getting scholarship all along, and Priya knows this. Before 2015, teachers were given scholarships. I don't know why she thinks this is a new initiative. She has no new initiative. Y'all remember in this same year, Priya was going about talking about consultation on education transformation. Y'all remember that? I attended one. She invited me and I went because I'm interested in what they have to say. And I stood up and I said to them, we cannot talk about education transformation when we are using a legislation that is older than me. And the last time we had a legislation that we talked about in the National Assembly. It was 2014, and she took it to the National Assembly. And shortly after that, they had the no confidence motion. And if you ask her now, she will say, well, y'all had 5 years, why you didn't bring it? And that's the nonsense that you have to deal with. She wants to talk about the transformation of education without a current legislation that can deal with the issues that we have to deal with now. I don't want to tell you all what 3901 has. I don't want to tell you all. But it's horrible. It's horrible, horrible. How these people will continue like this. Education is in jeopardy. And now social services. I mean, I can tell you, if my colleagues come for the other ministries that they shadow, they will tell you what is going on in each ministry. I've taken time to go through human services because I shadowed that prior to 2022. I know the runnings of that ministry. And now I'm shadowing education. I can tell you what's going on there. But folks, I don't know where the time went this evening, and I don't have a guest. But I missed last week Tuesday for some reason. I can't remember what happened, and I couldn't be here. And I wanted to share a lot with you this evening. Today in our press conference, the leader of the opposition said 2 years plus of PPP rule has made it manifest that the PPP is incompetent. Don't we agree that they're incompetent? We've actually proven to you in the public domain how incompetent they are. They're not only incompetent, they are divisive. And tonight, based on the information that we've seen in the last 2 days surfacing in the public domain in relation to the Ministry of Social Services, we know that they're divisive. Practicing religious intolerance by employing all these people from Dharmic Sabha over the qualified professionals, that's nepotism. It's divisive, and we got to call them out. And Rowena Cummings, the whole country in jeopardy. I agree with you. So the leader of the opposition, excuse me, he said that the PPP is incompetent, divisive, corrupt, and is making the lives of Guyanese worse by doling out the resources of this country to its elites, friends, families, and favorites. And we know the three F, right? That's what they're doing. While allocating crumbs to the people of Guyana, thus forcing them into hardship, hopelessness, and a life of poverty as they fail to create the 50,000 jobs they promised. You know, I'll tell you this. That was part of the press conference today, the leader of the opposition press conference today. I was in Region 6 2 Sundays ago. Region 6 is my constituency. So the leader of the opposition had an outreach, and we were in midway quarantine. And so I stopped. Most of you know the village Liverpool. And so we stopped at Liverpool, and I visited in a few places. And the feedback I got about the part time employees, the $40,000 a month job. The health center has 35 and 35, 70. 71 health center. I can verify the number if it's more than 70 part-time staff. So I inquired. I said, so we are doing it all these people. I said, Miss Lois, sorry, it's 35. So they have 35 um, part-time staff, and what they do is put them into shifts. So the first half will work the first 2 weeks, and the other half will work the next 2 weeks. So the health centers start to um, pressure wash, they start to do gardening, they sell the produce, and they're doing a lot of things. Now, you tell me if that's a well thought out strategy to employ people, or it is a strategy to give your own supporters $40,000 a month for no work. You're going to pay a man to come in 10 days a week, $40,000 to clean weed in your garden. That's the plan for employment. That is how we're going to take people out of poverty out in this country. I am so ashamed. But when the leader of the opposition speak about poverty, and you folks, you know that we have the capacity, we have oil money, but the PPP, they do not have a strategy. They do not have a plan. And so Vindhya Prasad could wake up today and decide to spend $10 million on somebody and someplace because she just had a thought. And she can do that. And you know what? I keep saying from since 2019, we started campaigning, and we're looking for their manifesto, and we're looking to see what kind of plans they'll come out. You know what they did? And I said it then. They stole our manifesto, plagiarized it, and put it out back. Shelley, Liverpool, we're on the quarantine. Yes, Liverpool on the quarantine, Shelley. And I want to tell you, if I do have another program before the end of the year, I'll bring some pictures and show you about the one Guyana that we have in Region 6 in that area. Manchester, Liverpool, and a few other, Rose Hall, a few other villages. They are incompetent. They don't have a plan. It is absolutely true. Outfront Pride says part-time employees don't have health benefits. They don't pay NIS. They don't pay PAYE. Delvin Simpson, tell me what part in the quarantine you're from. How is that a plan? How is that a plan? It is a plan to give your people $40,000 in a month to do nothing, but it's hurting them in the long run. It is going to hurt them as individual families. It's going to hurt them as a community. It is not the best thing for our people. Walaikum salam, Lachman Aziz. But folks, what can we do? Tell me. When we can allow Vindhya Prasad, because the president can't tell she nothing, or he won't tell her anything. I don't know what's the problem. Who promotes religious intolerance in a ministry? And we're seeing it through the letter. People are writing about it. Sabbath News carried something. Demerara Waves Online carried something. How is that right? They don't have the capacity to think, to plan, to execute. All they know about is drop. I just see Mark, what's his name? Mark Phillips in Mocha Arcadia. And he and the men on a mission, they distributing hampers. We welcome the hampers, it's taxpayers' money. The people are flooded, they need relief. Thank you. But let me tell you something. That's the only thing men on a mission does do. That's another failed project. And we recently saw that there's a plagiarized concept. And I know that my colleague will deal with that later on in the evening. Men on a Mission is a plagiarized project. It's not a unique concept taught by the PPP government. Even the color, as Sharon Holder was saying to me, even the color, even the color, they plagiarize. So, folks, we've been here about an hour. It's wonderful to be here. I think I have one more slide I want to bring to your attention. And this is because, we have a lot to do. We have a lot to do. And folks, some of the support that we get goes right back into the community. And so this evening, I have a plan. There are some women who are working voluntarily for this organization. It's an organization that I support wholeheartedly. Sisters Together Inc. You guys would know that we've started to do work in Muka Arcadia and Rosignol. We did some work in Linden, and we want to continue. We try to empower women and girls for community development. We have focused a lot in 2022 on domestic violence training and so on, how we can try to eliminate violence against women and girls. And yes, I know you folks will say that we have to talk to the men, but we as an organization, we've not gone to that level as yet. I do believe our organization, we have at the highest level, we have males as directors. So we do believe that men do play a role in the development of women and girls. So we embrace that. But folks, I am asking you to support this organization in any way you can. This flyer is saying there that we have access to. Um, let me just pull it up for you so we can get that clear. They have Western Union. You can send money to them by Western Union. You can use MoneyGram. You can use MMG, and the MMG number is 615-8917. You can partner with us to ensure that the women who volunteer for the year 2022, that we are able to reward them. So that's a program that we're going to have in the last week of December, which is a couple of days from now, and we are asking for your support. There are people who work wholeheartedly, tirelessly, to empower women and girls for community development. We've done a lot of work in 3 regions for this year. And so we want to reward those people who would have worked with us, who would have volunteered their time. And in many cases, they bring stuff out from their home when they go out to community outreach. And so, folks, I am asking you to partner with us to make this particular event successful. Sheila Boychild, I want you to reach out to me, 615-8917. Keith Evans, I'm seeing you now. Welcome. Reach out to me. Let me see how you and I can put together something for these ladies who would have worked with us. Michaela Andrews is viewing us from YouTube, I believe. Welcome to all of you on YouTube. I'm happy to have you folks here. We may have to migrate onto YouTube to be able to manage what Facebook is doing to us. But for now, folks, I want to urge you to contribute to this organization. It is something that I can verify. It's doing good work in the communities. They have focused a lot on women and girls. And we want to say thank you to all of you who have supported us. In particular, there is a gentleman in Pennsylvania, Mr. Rod Fletcher, who would have reached out to me and said to me he's going to help. And he did indeed come through with something for our training, domestic violence training. And I want to say thank you publicly to Mr. Rod Fletcher, who is a Guyanese by bone and blood. And he comes and he visits. On his last visit, I was able to meet with him, and he wants to say, it's a good job, and he sends some encouragement. And sometimes it is the little bit of encouragement that you can give to other people that help them to come out. We have a lot planned for 2023. We know that the Ministry of Human Services is a no show for our social services, and so we have to do what we can do as NGOs to ensure that our people are taken care of. And so, Michaela, thank you very much. She says you all keep up the good work. Sheila Boychild is 592-615-8917. Folks, I thank you kindly for reaching out to us, ensure that we are able to give back to our society. We are able to take care of our own people in our communities just around us. And so we can have better families, better communities. I want to say thank you very much. Reach out and let's do good things. 2023 is coming. There are a lot of big things planned for 2023. We cannot, I want to say this publicly, I cannot do this alone. I could not have done this for an entire year without you folks. And I want to say thank you very much. I enjoyed every moment being on Building Bridges with you all. Sometimes the truth is just, a little bit hard to take on because of how it appears, but we have to bring facts, and we got to share it with you guys, because there's a time when we're going to tell you that all of Guyana is fed up and we got to vote them out. And when I come to you and I say that we're ready to vote, you will vote with me. And so Thank you, and Anthony. The number again, it's 592-615-8917. Seymour George, bless up. Bless up to you too. Folks, it was wonderful being here. Brother Out Front Pad says, brothers and sisters together as friends, ready to face whatever life sends, joy and laughter or tears, and strife, holding hands tightly as we dance through life. That is so lovely. Thank you. It just says that we have to be our brothers and sisters keepers, you know. We have to continue to do that. And Anissa Furkan P says, thank you for your leadership, perseverance, and great stamina in service to the Guyanese people. Well, I thank you too for being with me. Building bridges takes acknowledging truth, responsibility, respect, and collaboration. Indeed, it does. It takes a lot to do that, but you have to be fearless. You have to be fearless. You have to believe. You have to believe in whatever you set out to do, and you have to be fearless about it because the PPP is going to take control of you if you behave fearful. And so, Carol Rollins says for overseas, how we send the money. Operator, can you put that back the flyer for me? I think for overseas, there's the option of Western Union or MoneyGram, and you can reach me by WhatsApp. So, Carol, you can WhatsApp me on 592-615-8917, and I will give you the treasurer's details so that you can be able to liaise and get the money through either Western Union or MoneyGram at this time. So, folks, I want to say good night to you. I want to say thank you for being with me for more than an hour. You know, it's looking a lot like Christmas these days as Muslims. We don't celebrate Christmas, but I look forward to the time to spend with my children. It's going to be the first Christmas that we will celebrate without my husband, but God knows best. And so we will do what we have to do. And folks, continue to be safe. I know you guys are going to have a good Christmas, especially those who are overseas. The ones who are here, we have to try and do what we have to do and ensure that everybody they're able to have a good meal for Christmas. You know, it's important. While I don't celebrate Christmas, I know that a lot of my supporters they celebrate Christmas, and so those who I can provide something, especially the needy ones who need to have a good Christmas, I certainly will do that. And so I thank all of you. Um, have a good evening, and I look forward to being with you next Tuesday. I know it's going to be the day after Boxing Day, but I look forward. A lot has been happening, and I can't afford to miss one Tuesday. So I'm going to ensure that I try to be here with you next Tuesday, and we will have another program of building bridges where I'll give you an update on what's happening at social services, what's happening at education, what's happening in our community. I want to do a constituency outreach. So yes, I'm going back to Region 6. So one of the communities that is flooded there, you haven't seen the government in, you know, they go selectively to communities. So we have to go to our communities. And that's just a fact. So, folks, I'll bring all of that to you next week. Have a good evening, and I will see you again.